Welcome back to Hobo Hollow. This is episode 3. Just a reminder, if you've not watched episode 1 or 2, they are out, and feel free to go ahead and watch those first if you'd like. If not, you probably haven't missed too much. We've just received a letter from our dear Aunt Gertrude stating that the farm is in dire needs, and we came to investigate. Uncle Earl was left in charge of the farm. Unfortunately, Uncle Earl, he's not really an active person in any way. He prefers just to stay in his little tool shed, his glorified tool shed. Tried to have a conversation with him, and it did not go very well. So I've basically just assumed responsibility for the farm, and I built myself this nice big tent. It's got a nice hammock that I've been able to spend some time in. These plants overhead are a nice touch. And, paper towels on the table, the regular necessities of life. Things have been suiting me pretty well here. So, just once again, I appreciate all your guys' support. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I would love to build this channel up and give you guys the best content I can. Well, it's a new day out here, and it looks mighty pretty. We've got this nice view out our front door of this pond. It is September 1st. The fire has gone out overnight once again, so that's a shame. Things that are on the to-do list for today. I do plan on filling up the greenhouse to capacity with water. That's going to require about, 4 more trips or so with the little Kramer down here to the water, filling it up, and then pulling it back out and up back to the greenhouse, which it was a little bit of an ordeal last time. It did take quite a while, and I don't want to have you guys suffer through that. I think what I might want to do is just take a little jaunt around the little lake here, see if we can't find the most flat way down into the lake and then back out. See, in my limited time exploring the area, I had picked out this spot basically right here. And it is flatter, obviously, than over there. But there may be slightly more flat place, somewhere around here. And I think that this lake kind of goes on for a little while, so I'm not trying to drive all the way around the lake. But I do believe that somewhere like this would be okay, although it does just pick up right around here. There's really I don't think there's any way of getting around that. This entire field flows down into the lake, and it is a bit of an uphill climb no matter what. The farther I go out this way, the more driving time I'm going to have. Ultimately, I just don't think it's worth it to drive way out this way, because at the end of the day, I am going to be encountered with some sort of incline, which I was afraid of. And it's not the best news in the world. It just means that it's going to take some time to fill up that greenhouse with water. So let's go ahead and locate the tractor, which I have parked up here at the top. I almost made the mistake of driving the tractor all the way down to the tent in the first episode. I don't think that would have worked out super well for me. I'm glad I was able to stop that process for the most part. Although we did actually end up going all the way down to the lake and then having to come back out. So as you can see here, my little tomatoes are growing, which is super exciting. When the tomatoes are done, they will auto stack on pallets just right here. It's a little weird that the signage is sticking up in the air. I guess that's because the greenhouse doesn't exactly seem to be on level ground right here. Nevertheless, it is standing, so that's great. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and fill up the greenhouse to capacity right now. Let's just double check one more time. Yeah, so we're at 20% of capacity as far as water goes. So this is where you wish you had, a nice, better tractor as far as horsepower goes. But she does all right for now. Can't complain a whole lot. We have a tractor, and that's one of the biggest things, right? Later on, I think what I would love to do is, simply chop down more trees, get more money, and really start just expanding our capabilities with new purchases. That's going to come in the form of possibly like a sheep pen. In order to satisfy the sheep, we would have to not only have the water, which we've got figured out, but we would have to cut grass and have some sort of forage wagon run around and pick up that grass. And I don't know if the tractor is even capable of pulling the forage wagon. That is always something that is, that's always going to be a question. That's always going to be a little bit of a doubt in the back of my mind. So again, I think our huge limiting factor is just the tractor in general. Does that mean that the first thing we do is buy a new tractor? I'm not entirely sure.
One eternity later.
All right. Well, I realized about partway through that it was just going to take forever, and that it would be painfully boring for you guys to watch as I went around and around and around back to the lake, filled it up, brought it back here. And even if I sped it up, it was going to take quite a while. So I saved you guys the boredom. I have filled up the entire greenhouse, as you can see here. Tomatoes are growing, and sooner or later we will have our first pallet pop out right here of tomatoes. Now, ideally, I would love to keep some of these trees around just for decoration, but there's not a lot of time to decide which ones would be practical to keep around and which ones wouldn't. And I don't know exactly what the overall layout of the farm is going to look like yet, especially with the buildings and new things that I will eventually put onto the farm. I'm just hacking away at trees and taking them down wherever I see them. And this super strength tool is so handy in just taking a tree and pushing it over. For whatever reason, trees don't always just fall when you chop them. And maybe it's because I am doing something wrong. Totally could be. But I have found that it just is such a convenience to be able to pick up and move these trees and manhandle them a little bit more just by doing this. So that is one luxury that I've afforded myself. We have been getting a pretty good price at the sawmill for trees. I hope that continues. I know that prices sometimes fluctuate in the game, but I don't know if that is true for trees and wood. Either way, we need to make money, and we don't have time to wait around for wood prices to go up or down. Let's see if my stacking abilities have gotten any better over the last couple episodes. Probably not. You know, I played with this trailer before, and it feels like these straps never were like auto strapped down when the trailer is empty. So that's kind of a new thing. And it did prevent me from strapping the logs down earlier, which was a little bit annoying. So I need to make sure that I undo those. Now these are some hefty logs. Those are some thick boys. So we may not be able to haul away as much as I'm used to. That's all right. Heavier wood means larger prices, right? Okay, that is definitely way too big for the trailer. Certainly biting off a little bit more than I can chew with that. And it seems to fit fairly nicely. And it's always a little bit of a contest for me to see how many logs I can actually fit on this trailer. And I'm not sure even how that's possible. Like I can get maybe 2-3 layers at the most. Maybe I need to watch some more YouTube videos on how to stack better. All right. Typically about right here is where I put on at least one of the straps just to hold everything in place so that I don't risk pushing anything else over. And then this is where all the trial and error comes in, trying to find that perfect balance. I think I've found it with that. I'm gonna go ahead and strap that down, and hopefully there's a little bit more room for a little bit more. Lovely. Perfect. Next order of business is to head over to the sawmill. We'll see how much we get for this. I'm expecting at least 4,000 as soon as I get this tractor unstuck. Yeah, we are definitely a little bit stuck here. So, again, the super strength, just very helpful. And we are off. I'll see you over at the sawmill. Right, well, here we are at the local sawmill. Just going to go ahead and sell this wood, see how much we get for it. Oh, $5,498. That is not bad. That's not bad at all. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and pop into our local store, really the only place on the entire map where we can buy equipment and machinery. And we're just going to go ahead and see what, if anything, we can buy. And if we can't buy anything, that's perfectly fine. I know we're not rich by any means yet, but I do want to price check a few things, such as small tractors. This is a 25 horsepower. I want to double check. Yeah, so ours is sitting at 18 horsepower. Not very amazing. This one right here is 25. And I don't know for sure what our price range is going to be for a new tractor. It can't be more than, I'd love to get into something in the $20,000 range, but possibly need to go higher than that. For example, this is 100 horsepower, sitting at 39. It's always a good idea to check the used vehicle sell as well. I'd love to have a trailer like that, but obviously it weighs, 4.5 ton, and that is way too heavy for us right now. So everything comes with its trade-offs, right? You want a bigger trailer? Well, you're going to have a tractor that can pull that trailer. Getting back to tractors, I'm not seeing anything on the radar. This is an 82 horsepower. This one's pretty interesting as well. Look at that thing. Wow. Talk about orange. We're probably going to have to get into something maybe along these lines. 26,000, that's not a bad deal for a 90 to 100 horsepower trailer or a tractor. Here's a 12,000, which, to tell you the truth, that's 60 horsepower. It's a little over 3 times the horsepower that we currently have, and that would be also fantastic. And for just a little bit more, we can get a little bit more horsepower. 60 as opposed to 100, 105. I think that would totally be worth it to just save a little bit more and get, something along those lines. And this seems to be the same exact tractor, except it's got a different cab configuration. But it's literally the same as far as the numbers go. So I don't know for sure why I would go for that one as opposed to this one. This is our beautiful tractor that we currently have. Nice 18 horsepower. This nearly doubles the horsepower. So there are several options, and of course we can always go with the Massey Ferguson. I hope I said that right. It might be Macy. I have no idea. I'm sorry. I'm not a true farmer. Well, the good news overall is that there are options. We've got to get into, the $20,000 to $30,000 range, though. These are kind of ugly, don't you think? They're kind of cool, but pretty ugly. So that's going to be we're looking at 5 or 6 more trailer loads of wood in order to get into the range where we feel like we can get another tractor. And that's totally doable. I plan on doing that many loads of wood, in the future anyways. One thing that, if we're going to get on with actual farming, which is the point of this game, we need to look at our harvesters. And those can be quite pricey, as you can see. So that's a lot of trees, and that's why I wanted to get a greenhouse going, get us some of that additional income. Now, I have found mods that do produce, more reasonably priced harvesters. Something in the $50,000 range, for example. This would not be bad. Would not be bad at all. I think I may have something even cheaper. Yeah, $12,000 Um, shoot, might be able to get that by the time the corn has not withered away. So yeah, so you just sit right up there, and that's kind of a cool little harvester. You can change colors. Um, Not tons of different options, but you can change some of the colors. Well, you can get red or 16 other kinds of red. So um, that may be the plan, as far as I'm concerned. $12,000 for a harvester. I think that is phenomenal. So we might end up going with that, but I think, and let me just check the calendar here for corn. Okay, so harvest season does last another. We're in the first month of 3, so we've got some time to harvest this corn. I think we can definitely get that $12,000, get that harvester, harvest that corn, and then we would be sitting real pretty. So honestly, that's got to be the action plan right now. And then we've got 3 more months to make more money in order to buy the equipment we need to replant. And that's going to be, I don't know that I want to harvest corn again. I'd rather do something like canola or soybeans or something along those lines. So it's going to take equipment that we don't have. So I think this is lining up nicely. And I'm going to set my sights on that harvester. I just want to go back, just double check its ability to handle all of the crops that I need it to handle. Yeah, so it'll harvest what I need it to handle. Basically everything that it needs to. So for me, that's got to be what I'm going to do. So I'm going to head back down to the sawmill, hop on the tractor, and we're going to go cut some more trees. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put this on fast forward for you. Let you guys listen to some awesome music, and we're just going to get as many trees as we can, and get this farm up off the ground, despite Uncle Earl's negligence. All right, here we are at the sawmill with the impressive trailer load of logs. It did make it. Took quite a while, as usual. We're going to go ahead and hit that sell button. See how much we make. $6,100. That puts us really close to the $12,000 mark, which is where we need to be in order to get that harvester. However, I was thinking on the way over here, it's not just about getting the harvester, right? You need to also have a trailer that can hold grain. This trailer is not one of those trailers. So that's a little bit more of a wrinkle into the plan as well. We need to not only have $12,000 to pick up the harvester, but a chunk of money in order to pick up a different kind of trailer, and it has to be the right kind of trailer that that the Kramer can pull, which is severely going to limit the amount of trailers that I can buy. However, I'm sure there is one. We didn't look at them last time we were at the store, but I am sure there is one that I could pick up. It's just a matter of getting that money. So off back to the, I'm just going to call it the tree farm for now. Off back to our tree farm we go. Trees are ready for harvest, and I have my trusty little chainsaw, which is my harvester for that. And the tractor's getting a little dirty, as you can see. I would love to be able to give it a nice wash, clean it up a little bit. Or, you know, maybe it's just nice having this this dirt patina all over the tractor. It makes me feel like I'm working hard. Either way, I'm just going to continue chopping down a few more trees. I hope to conclude this episode by making at least one purchase, if not two. The harvester, of course, and possibly the trailer to pull the grain in, and we'll be all set to do our first harvest, which could commence at the beginning of the next episode. All right, and we are just pulling up to the old sawmill right now. Can't wait to get this unloaded and to get paid a little bit more. Then we're going to make our way over to the store, and if nothing else, price check some trailers and purchase our first harvester, which is really exciting, especially on, you know, what is this, day 2, day 3, something like that. So that's really fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip the long trip and just use this feature on the map to visit the shop. Of course, I'm going to have to go back and get my tractor from the sawmill somehow. Either way, let's go ahead and look in trailers first, because I know I do have enough money for that. For the harvester. So this trailer right here is only $3,500, and that could be perfectly doable. It can carry just about everything. It's extremely small, but at the same time, beggars can't be choosers. Right now, I'm a little bit of a beggar, and I'm just looking at other trailers, definitely out of my price range. This one most likely is too heavy. It's 5.5 tons just on its own. Yeah, a lot of these are quite heavy. This one's less heavy and nice. Yeah, overall, we're looking at, I don't know, we got something like this, which is only 2.4 tons. Really not ideal. It's not even a full-size trailer, really. I forgot to see how many tons that first trailer was. We're gonna have to go back and look at it. If I recall correctly, see this one here, it's not even a ton. It's a little over half. So this could do as well, although it's a pretty wimpy looking trailer. Something like that. That is extremely heavy. So I just don't think that's going to be doable. The water tank that I got, I believe it weighed maybe a ton, maybe. I need to have these figures on the top of my head. Yeah, so just a little less than a ton, sitting at 877 kilograms. So I think the takeaway here is that there are some trailers that will work. They're not the coolest trailers, but it's going to be a while before we even get to anything cool in this game. Let's go ahead and purchase this while we can. Might as well do bright red. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I don't think I like white necessarily. but maybe some gray. And rim color looks a little too ketchup and mustard-ish right now. So let's just go with that. I wish they had black rims. That would be really cool. Wheel-wise, I suppose we could splurge just a little bit. An extra $200 gets me these kinds of wheels, but I don't think it really matters. I don't know what additional covers means. I'm not going to worry about it. Not going to worry about the stickers either. And yeah, I think that we are solid on this. It's too late to go back now. Anyways, let's check the for sale. It's just the same thing. So now we are left with a little over $4,000 for a trailer. This is only a 350 kilogram trailer, which could do. There was one other somewhere back here. There are a lot of trailers, and most of these are mods, which I absolutely love. Again, I just want to give a shout out to the modders in general. So this is a $4,000 trailer. It's about $1,000 more than the first one. It will hold, let's see, it'll hold basically twice as much. Let's just go ahead and go with that one because we have pretty decent sized field. I mean, it's not the largest field on the game, but definitely is not the smallest. So we are going to be looking at making quite a few trips just to sell our product, which is totally fine. I don't mind. You know, we're getting paid, right? So now the only question is, what color should I make it? We can totally black out the rims, which I'm going to do. And then, oh, that's a little scary. And then what color should we make it? Now I'm just remembering the tractor is a bit of a turquoise color. I don't see the exact color in this trailer. However, I kind of like that. But that is more than we have, which is a little bit of a bummer. We're sitting at $4,230 for that, and we have a balance of just over $4,000. So I've gone a little too crazy with the coloring, and that's what happens when you are presented with so many options. Now I need to get back to just a plain. It's pretty ugly, but I think it's what we're gonna have to do, as we don't have enough money to modify the color right now. So that's all we're gonna do. So coming around the building for the big reveal, there is our beautiful harvester. I have never seen something more beautiful than that in all my life. It looks like it was made in like 1980 or, I mean, more like 1880. Probably a little bit more recent than that, you know. But I do like the detail on it. Like, you can get right up and read this. It looks to be written in a different language, but I'm sure it means something. And the deer, there are always deer out here, which is really cool. And of course, we've got our trailer that I don't think it can be pulled by the harvester, but there's only one way to find out. I love how we're just sitting here on top of the harvester. And we got to reach down to shift and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and see if we can't hook up the harvester to the trailer. I don't think that's going to be something that can happen. So we're just going to go ahead and make our way back to our farm. This is what it looks like on top of the harvester. It's really not a bad view at all. Pretend we turn it on the harvester and getting ready to harvest. That's what it looks like. I'm sure it gets quite dusty up here. Anyways, if you don't mind accompanying me back to the farm, I think that we'll get back to the farm and we'll just call it a day. And I think that'll be enough content for this episode. And the next episode, we're going to go run back out to grab the trailer, and then we're going to start harvesting some corn. I never thought I'd say that this early in the game. I really thought that the first corn harvest was not going to happen until at least next year because we just didn't have the money or the tools in order to harvest the current crop. So I really thought we were just going to have to watch it wither away, which was making me a little bit sad. But oh, how the tables have turned, right? I tell you what, Uncle Earl is going to lose it when he sees me rolling up in this. I don't know if you can hear the engine very well, but he could probably hear from here. It's got a little bit of a rattle to it, that's for sure. I don't think I'm going to park it next to his place, though. He is likely to ruin it. So we're just going to take a detour here and go over to where all of my stuff is. That's where I will be parking everything. Eventually, when I have enough funds and enough time, I would like to lay down some gravel or cement here, at least a dirt path, and make things a little bit more presentable back here. Of course, the area is going to be cleared out a bit more with the inevitable tree cutting that I'm going to have to do. But this is going to make a nice little flat area. Once we get down here, though, things get a little bit harder to build on just because the ground is not flat. So we end up with very steep drop-offs, kind of like what we have in the front of our tent. Anyways, I think this is a perfectly suitable place to park the harvester for now. And I could certainly harvest a swath of field, although I seriously doubt it's going to take much to fill this up. And this is a sizable field, so I expect harvesting season to take a very long time. But we're in it for the long haul, and we have to make Aunt Gertrude happy, right? So at this point, let's just go ahead and see if there are any tomatoes that have been produced. There have not been, which is a little bit disappointing, but I have a lot of faith in this greenhouse. Pretty soon we're going to be rolling in the money, and it won't be so much of a survival situation anymore. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and conclude this episode. This concludes episode 3. Stay tuned for episode 4, and please, if you haven't already, give me a like. Give me a follow. I would really appreciate it. I'm new to YouTube in general. I'm new to producing content and videos, but I'd love to continue making more, and that support just means the world to me. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.